Hey everybody, here's another video review. I've been trying to pace myself and I wanted to kind of go off in a little different tangent. So those of you who've been sort of just following my channel, I think know that I do have a pretty varied taste and I like to collect all sorts of, I think, fun and rare and interesting things. And so this is going to be my very first Disney limited edition doll review. So believe it or not, I also collect these. Not super hardcore, but over the years I've actually built up a pretty decent collection. They're ostensibly for my daughters, but I do appreciate and enjoy the beauty of these dolls as well. So again, it's kind of interesting. I do reviews of rare statues, there's dolls, all sorts of different types of statues. I'm gonna put up a review of a music box, maybe a board game in the future, Walt Disney Classics porcelain collection. So it's sort of my hope that between everything that I think people who are interested in one type of collectible, if they click on one of my videos, might want to, maybe subscribe or look at some other videos I have up, and then maybe sort of learn, cool things about another branch or aspect of collecting that they may never otherwise have been exposed to. And I think that's kind of one of the things that I think is sort of interesting about my channel, is that I collect so many different things from so many different corners that there is a lot of variety, and hopefully it never gets too boring. But at the same time, I also realize that there's some people who have absolutely zero interest in dolls, and they just want to see my Predator collection or my Terminator collection or my Marvel collection. And for those, I do apologize. Hopefully they'll get a little bit of interest in just kind of seeing this. So what is this? Okay, so this is the most recent 12-inch release of the Disney princesses, and I'll give a little bit more backstory with each princess sort of doll review. So this is the Disney, let's get a little bit closer here. This is the Disney Premier Series. So the official, the Disney store releases 2 official lines of dolls typically, and they're differentiated by size. So one is the 12-inch and the other one is the 17-inch. The 12-inch are basically called the designer series. And then the 17-inch, I guess, is just limited edition dolls, So this is the latest. Usually every year, Disney releases a couple of these designer 12-inch dolls. They're all limited edition, a certain number. They're all very nicely packaged. They're very, very high quality dolls. So this year, they decided to sort of change things up a little bit and decided to give us this thing called the Disney Designer Premier Series. So in the past, the 12-inch Designer Series have usually paired up the princesses with various other, themes. Like I think one year, the one I have every one of comes in like a square plastic holder, a square plastic box. I'll review those in time. And they were like basically heroes and villains. So they would pair the princess with their with their villain in the movie. So for instance, Rapunzel would be paired with Lady Gothel, and Snow White would be paired with the Hag, etc. But after they do that for a couple years, you start kind of running out of ideas, I think, in a way. And so for this one, they kind of had this, stroke of whatever you want to call it, genius, or this, firework in their head. And they said, well, why don't we, take our Disney princesses and why don't we design them in the clothes that fit their era, decade or era, and pretend that they are going to the world premiere of their own movie. So the conceit is that in 1937, which was when Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was released, we're gonna have Snow White, sort of the actress, right, attending her own movie premiere as a glamorous star. And what would she wear? and how it should look from the style of that year and that decade. So hopefully then that's enough backstory. That's kind of the thinking behind the series. So here's the box. It's plastic. This is magnetized right here. Before I open it, let's take a look at the front in real huge marquee letters, 1937. And then here you have the Premiere Series, Disney Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It's a limited edition, one of 4,100. And then below you have the the French version, and in the background you have all of the photographers, flashing their cameras as you would expect at a premiere. And then here's the stylized rendition of Snow White. Okay, so it's a very classy box. It's curved around. So let me show you here. So on the side again, you have 1937, and then you have her full size. Okay, full size representation of her. On the other side, it's basically the same thing. And then here you go here. I'll freeze it so that if you really want to, you can read it. I'm not going to do that. But reading it, this will kind of give you, again, an idea of where they're going for here. And then back again, kind of a very nice sort of design rendition of her dress. Okay, very classic. So from the top, this is what it looks like. Okay, so sort of a weird shape, not symmetrical, not box-like. So here you go, Disney Designer Collection Premiere Series. So she's the first in the line. For this year, they're going to do 6 of them. So it's Snow White, Cinderella, Jasmine, Ariel, Tiana, and Belle. Now, obviously, there's a lot more princesses than those 6. So maybe next year they're going to do another batch of 6 until they hit all of the major princesses. Normally, they don't do more than 2 years in a row of the same series. So she's the first in the line, 1937. Let's open her up and let's take a look at what she looks like. So it's magnetized. So you open it up here like that, and then you open up like this. So the doll is over here. There is a little bit of a glare. Sorry, you can actually see me in my undershirt doing the review. I will take this cover off so you can see it a little bit better. But as you can tell, she looks beautiful. And then over here, it's pretty interesting. It's attached to the sleeve, but you actually kind of see this little mini, I guess, mini version of the poster from the original film. So this is kind of a nice touch. This is, I think, the more famous movie poster of Snow White, the original. And then if you look over here, you see like the invitation, world premiere tonight at the Carthay Circle, Los Angeles, and then like 2 tickets. So that's cute. Again, you can't remove them. They're, I don't know, glued or taped in there. So I'm going to cut away, and I'm going to take the plastic cover off so we can have a little better look at the doll. Okay, so here she is, now completely unpackaged. So the way it works is that this is the kind of the shield, and it goes over her like that. So you take that off. I'm gonna put this down here for now. And then the whole thing that fits in here. Okay, so you have to take the whole thing out, and you take the plexiglass shield off of her. So again, kind of give you a nice little close-up of the tickets, then the invitation, and then here, of course, is the movie poster. Very classy, very nice. Then you have, of course, the actual doll itself. Again, you can see the paparazzi and the photographers in the background. Here's the red carpet. This is the certificate of authenticity. What do I have here? Nothing too special. 1,130 of 4,100. Here we go. For those of you who are interested in reading it, I'm going to freeze it a little bit so that you can pause and read this if you wish. So let's start at the bottom. She is completely secured with like little tiny plastic like clips to keep her in place. And in the back, you can actually see some of the stuff that you would see in normal Disney doll toys, the straps and all this other stuff, kind of securing it, the tape, etc. So deboxing her completely would be a bit of a chore, just like with all of these other toys. But of course, I'm not a deboxer myself, so you can kind of see the beautiful train right here with the little tiny rhinestones. Then you have her 1930s flapper type dress. Here, this is right here. This is a free tassel, also actually secured, you can see, by the little ties. You have her purse, and it's pretty cute. It has an S on it. And I think some pictures online show it open, and inside there's like a mirror. So there's a lot of detail, a lot of attention to that. Very nice. Here's a little faux fur coat. You can see all the kind of the little tiny individual details here. Very, very pretty. Have a dangling earring. This earring is sort of pressed a little bit close to her hair, so it's like locked in position, though that doesn't dangle quite as much. As with all dolls of this quality and this price tag, they're all rooted, and they all have eyelashes as well. So if you look at her, very beautiful makeup, subtle, has kind of Snow White's innocent face. Excellent detail here. The hair is very, very heavily gelled, so that doesn't really move, but you can move it a little bit, but it's pretty nicely set over here, and like everything is sort of locked in, and it's very difficult to move any of these elements at all. When you're trying to like mess around with it and all that stuff. Like I think you can barely even lift this up to just even look at her shoes. I'll do my best, but like not very easy to do. You have to have like a little flash or something. So you can see everything's sort of locked down in place. So there you go. And I really think this is one of the best of the series. It's of course a gorgeously designed dress, very true to the era. They give her the nice bag, the fur, but they also kind of incorporate Snow White's signature look and colors while adapting it to the 1930s dress style. So that's actually pretty impressive that they were able to do that. So they kind of incorporated her classic shoulder, the little red and white. They put that from the original costume, and they kind of incorporated it into the flapper dress. And you have, of course, the deep red, that she's known for. And if you go behind her, it's kind of hard to do, with a phone, but you can actually see that it's a bow. It's tied to this big bow in her back, which is really nice. Here, of course, all you see is the plastic holding it in place. But hopefully you can kind of get an idea. It's hard because the box is in the way, and I have, of course, a camera phone, but it's really, really difficult to turn around and sort of get that shot. But if you look at some of the online pictures of her, you'll definitely see that. So there you go, very classic. The earrings are metal as well. Gonna get a little bit closer look at her face, her rooted hair and rooted eyelashes. Overall, very beautiful doll, very classy, definitely, I think started off the line with a bang, and will be very popular, in my opinion, moving forward. So Snow White, again, the first of the line, as she was with the 17-inch, now with the designer series as well. And they really knocked this one out of the ballpark, in my opinion. So I hope you enjoyed that. And the next one I will do will be the second of the series, which is Cinderella from the 1950s. And until then, take care, everybody.